What's up guys, welcome to Elder Scrolls. Today we're going to look at a crafting kind of guide. So it's not going to be like super extra special or anything like that, but I made a video of this before and I can make it better. That's all I'm doing here. So I had a lot of questions about crafting, I'm just making an updated version, and we'll start off by looking at a few things here. So first things first, in Elder Scrolls, when you're just starting out, you'll probably find some like random materials around to pick up off the floor, so you don't need any particular crafting level to start picking these things up. You can just go walk right up to them and just start gathering wood and cloth materials and ores and things. Then what happens is you can take all of these materials to a crafting station. So there are crafting stations, let me just show you, located in every main town. So for example, in the Aldmeri Dominion here, in this Volkelgard place, there is a crafting station area here. The woodworker's just here. In the other ones, obviously, ooh, no, don't take me away. The other ones are obviously quite similar, so there is something here, and the wood station is separate for some reason. The wood station's in a weird place. But then there's also crafting stations all throughout the world of Tamriel that you can discover. For example, here's one, it's called Ashen Grip Set. There's a really good magic one for magic builds here, Twilight's Embrace, and this one here, Torag's Pack. So they won't show up on your map, you've got to discover them first, and then you can go back there and craft your stuff. So you'll probably notice on the crafting locations thing here, it says 3 traits required. So this is for set gear. The stuff in the main towns, the crafting stations, will just be like plain old gear. It just gives you armor, and then you can enchant it with something. So that's all you get on those. Or if you discovered traits, you can put the trait on there as well, and I'll go into that in a second. But you'll see 3 traits required in this one. This one says 3 traits required. Some of them require far more, so I'm going to go into Rothgar, because there's one here that I use. This one here requires 6 traits. So what this means is that when you start gathering materials and you start looting gear, for example, so let me just find a piece of gear here where it has a trait on. Okay, so this one, Gauntlets of the Drace Kingslayer. So do you see where it says infused? That is a trait on that piece of armor. So it increases armor enchantment effect by 14%. So what happens is when you start looting this kind of gear with certain certain traits on them, like this one has prosperous, this one has infused, this one has prosperous again. Once you start looting these pieces, if you don't actually need them, or if you use them for a while and then outlevel them, don't sell them. So the best thing to do is go into your research tab here and then find wherever that piece of armor that you've got that can be researched, and see we've got one here, researchable, well fitted. So I've just found this piece of armor that I can research now, so I'll just start doing that now. This one takes 10 days. So this time scale here, so each research trait that you get, it'll start off, I think the very first one's like 5 hours something, and you can get a passive ability that starts reducing the time on these. So if you go into the crafting section, let's go to Blacksmith, they all kind of have the same general skills, they're just called slightly different things. So this one here reduces research times by 25%, limits research time to 30 days, and allows the research of 3 items at once. So this is kind of what you want to focus on at the start when you level your enchanting. Sorry, not enchanting, your crafting. The first skill though to get definitely is Keen Eye, because it'll help you find the materials a lot easier. They'll kind of glow and it just looks so much nicer to find. And then yeah, try and focus to get this one. Obviously Minor Hireling is very good. Same with the other hirelings, because you get mail. I'll show you. So the hirelings give you mail every day with a bunch of materials that you can use without even having to go out and find them. So it's just a nice little bonus there, but it's not super urgent. The main super urgent one is the research times one, because the research, so depending on how many items, for example, let's go back to these trousers. Depending on how many researched items you've got onto this one leather pant, depends what set pieces you can craft for it. So certain set pieces will require more research traits than others. So for example, the ones that sell 3, we would only need like 3 of any of these to be researched in order to craft that particular set piece. So let's see what this station has. I'm at Death's Wind for some reason. And let's see. Death's Wind needs... where is it? One of the easiest traits to get. It's just like a physical set thing. So here we go. You can either creation set apparel, or there's just apparel. If you just have apparel, that means you haven't researched enough traits on the gear to show it up. So this is what the plain stuff looks like, and then the set pieces. So all you need to do is, for this robe, research 2 traits. For the shirt, it's kind of the same thing, you just need the robe researched because it's only a top piece. For the shoes, you need to research 2 traits. You need to research 2 traits on the gloves. You need to research 2 traits for your helmet. So each individual armor piece needs to have a research done on it in order to create set pieces on each one. So now you kind of see where the time thing comes into play. It'll take quite a long time to research all of these to 9, especially the last one. So this trait here, Nernhorned, is very Nernhoned is very difficult to get. It is a very sought after piece. I think it used to increase weapon damage, so they want it on like your weapon item. So we'll go to the blacksmith. Blacksmith, where are you? Yeah, increases damage of this weapon. So that's where it kind of is sought after, but I think other ones are better now rather than Nernhorned as a trait. So this particular set piece here, you got set weapons and set apparel. I would say find out what your build says that you should be getting, because you want to ideally research the stuff that you need first. So for example, on this character here, my Dragon Knight stamina thing, I would go for the leather stuff first. So head over to clothing station, research, and start just doing any random old leather stuff so you can start actually crafting sets with higher trait requirements. And there's a limited amount of researching you can do at one time per crafting thing. So this particular one in clothing does cloth and leather. Now what that means, you can only research 1 trait at a time at the beginning, and then it goes up to 2 traits at a time, then it goes up to 3. So you have a limited amount of resources available to you to research these things, so you want to get started on the ones that you need as a priority first, and then you can start doing other stuff that you don't need later on when you've already got your set pieces going for yourself. So that's kind of my little general rule there. Let's head over to the woodworking guy. And again, we've got some stuff to research first. I would say if you need a restoration staff, focus on the restoration staff as a priority. If you need an inferno staff, focus on that one as a priority. If you need a bow, focus on that one as a priority. So the woodworking area is going to be all your wooden weapons, so that's good. And the only thing that's here for armor is a shield. And so you don't really need to probably focus. The woodworking one's probably the easiest to get your research done on because there aren't many items. If you need a heavy armor character, you're going to have a bit of a bad time, especially if you're doing a stamina build, because you're going to need these weapons here. Even in Magicka, some of them use dual wield swords. So all the metal weapons are here, plus all the metal armor is here. So this one might be a bit of a pain in the butt to do if you're going to be a heavy class, because you're going to need to do all your research in the blacksmithing tree. So try and start off with just the weapon you need first. At least that's only one thing you got to sort out, but then all the gear later, or the gear first and the weapon later. It doesn't really matter. And that's just kind of how the whole trait set thing, that's like the first thing to focus on, is get your research sorted out, because that's going to take you the longest time to do things in. Then the next thing, how do you upgrade your gear? So, here's this improvement tab. You'll probably have like the little quest from the vendor that tells you all this stuff, but here's the improvement tab. And essentially you can improve all of this stuff with a certain temper, or in clothing it's called something else. I'll show you that in a second. For example, you've got a white piece, which is what you'll craft first off. You need to take the white piece and then upgrade it to a green item with these honing stones. And then so on, when you have a green piece, you need this dwarven oil to upgrade it to the blue piece. And then for the blue piece, you'll need this grain solvent for the purple piece. So this is just blacksmith specifically. And you kind of see how it goes in a chain. So for each piece of armor you want to upgrade to a blue piece, you've got to have enough materials to keep upgrading them. So before you start upgrading them, definitely check out this here. So this one more than doubles the chances to improve items with tempers. It'll start off lower, but as you level it further on, it'll improve your chances. So it means you have to use less materials to upgrade them every time. So this one, I only need 2 now, but I think it started off as like 4 or 5 to get it to 100% chance. So be careful with this chance percentage thing if you wonder why your gear is failing to upgrade. And then here in the improvement tab for this one, it's hemming for the green. Oh, elegant lining for purple, embroidery for the blue, and you need some kind of Dre wax thing for the legendary, but we don't need to do that now. And yeah, again with the improvements here, you'll need different stuff here. So you've got your pitch, you've got your turpin, and you've got your mastic. So this is just kind of how it works a bit there. It's not super important at that stage. You only kind of want to get it to your blue gear first off. So that's where this one comes in, very useful. And in order to get these upgrades, as they're called, like enhancements, improvements, whatever, in order to get these, you can get them one of two ways, well, three ways really. You can go and buy them from guild traders, that's fine, but they're kind of overpriced. The other way, when you start collecting materials, is to refine your stuff. And for example, this I can refine because I've got at least 10, so it takes 10 at a time, and I've got leather as well down here. So you need at least 10 of these at a time to start refining them. And what the refining does, it has a chance to, in addition to giving you the silk you need, or the leather you need, it has a chance to also give you the green, blue and purple and legendary items to upgrade your gear. And this here increases the chance of extracting ingredients and helps you refine some of the most powerful stuff from raw materials. So it'll increase the level of things you can get, so it'll increase it to like blue, purple and then legendary, and it'll also increase the chance of getting that item. So I'll try it with this ore here, and I'm not getting anything. God damn it. Okay, honing stone, I've got one, so that's kind of how it works there. Let's go. Ooh, where have I gone? I've lost myself. Alright, and then this one, we've got a bit of wood. We can try 3 times, we got 32. Oh, I've got some pitch and a mastic. Okay, so that's kind of how it works there. Oh, and this is what it looks like when you get that keen eye skill. It helps greatly. Obviously the distance, have a higher distance is good, but I've only invested 1 point into that to save my skill points. This skill, very first one, helps you be able to craft the different level ranges. So if you're starting to craft stuff, you're like, oh, I've collected the stronger items, these better items here, like collecting this ruby ash wood, okay, but I can't use it and I can't craft anything with it. It's because this skill hasn't been leveled, the first one in each tree. Whoops. So tailoring, and then woodworking, not provisioning. So this allows you to use the higher graded items as you go. So if you get this to 10, you can pretty much craft anything in the game. That's kind of how that bit works. And then the next way to get your raw materials to, not your raw materials, the next way to get the improvement ingredients that you need in order to improve your gear to higher qualities is to deconstruct them. So for example, I'll start deconstructing this white stuff. It's not going to give me anything. I'm better off NPCing it, but it just gives you some extra stuff that you might want. That one sells for more. I'm not going to do that one. This one just gives you some extra stuff that you don't need. Okay, so for example, this one, Ruby Ash, Restoration Staff of Shock. I don't need to research this one at all, so I'm just going to deconstruct it. And it should give me pitch. And it gives me these other little bonus items, which is actually what it looks like. So these molybdenum, star metal, manganese, obsidian, flint, adamantite, just changes the appearance of your gear. So you just need something to make your bow or whatever look special in its own way. And then the material here increases the grade, and within each grade, depending on how many you use, it increases the level range of that item. So here the level range is 46, 48 and 50, and that's what we can craft with this sanded yew. Sanded birch, so it goes up to champion points, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and 110, 120, 130, 140. This is quite a nice one. And then we've got 150 and 160 as end game. But you'll notice at the very end, the upgrade to 160, so it starts off at 12 for 150, and then it goes up to 120 freaking ash, standard ruby ash, in order to make your 160 gear. And this is the highest item level you can get, is champion 160. So that's kind of how it works, like that. Then the traits down here, so you'll need these certain items that you can get, and that also comes from deconstructing your gear. And I think also refining it'll let you get some of them as well. So there's powered, charged, precise, infused, defending, training, sharpened, decisive. So on weapons, sharpened is quite popular, so it increases penetration. And then obviously if you want to do a leveling type set that increases your experience, you can use training instead. So this is where you select, you can have no trait, which means there's no bonus to your gear. So obviously these traits are very useful when you start researching them here, and you can only use the traits once you've researched them. So I can research this one if I want to and get that done. I don't need an ice staff at the minute. Maybe I will for the next patch, who knows. But I'll just deconstruct this one for now and show you I get pitch and then a trait item here. This one here. I get turpin, this kysolite and palladium, which, what is that? Ah, ancient elf, that's why. Okay, so yeah, I don't have that yet. I haven't gotten that style. This is like a bonus style that you get, so you can't really use it yet. Okay, so that's kind of going over the weirdnesses of crafting and what each little bit does, and the set pieces, and the deconstructing, how it's useful to get extra bits and pieces, but only do this if you don't need the gear and you don't need to research the traits on them already. Then you can deconstruct to get yourself extra improvement materials, and hopefully that all kind of made sense. So as you go up in higher levels as well, you'll need more of these to have a higher chance. You need 4 of the blue ones, sorry, of the purple ones to get a blue item to a purple item, so you just need a few more of those than normal. And again, for this one here, I can just start deconstructing the stuff I don't want, get some stones, get some materials, and don't need that one. So yeah, I didn't get anything from that one, unfortunately. This is why it's good to get your skill leveled thing higher. It's good to get these passives higher so you can start doing it. So yeah, focus on your main one first. So if you're a magical user with like casting magic spells and stuff, get your clothing one up first, and then focus on woodworking for your staves and stuff. If you're heavy armor, blacksmith is going to be your main focus, maybe woodworking for a shield, or if you need one cloth piece or something. So definitely, if you're not using one of them, still research the traits anyway, because you're going to need them at some point, for your other characters even. So you can have, with ESO Plus, I've got a craft bag, which is really useful because I've got all my junk in here, and it transfers between all my characters, so I have like an unlimited amount of junk. Wow, this stuff is expensive. So yeah, that's the usefulness of the craft bag. Otherwise, you can just put your junk into the bank, and I think you can use it straight from there. You can also deconstruct straight from there. So in order to deconstruct these pieces, I mean, some of these are in my bank. I don't have them in my bags at all. Let's go. Check it out. Armor. Nope. Okay, so I don't have that shoulder piece in here. And that's because it's in my bank, and I just transfer them over from my other characters to start researching them or deconstructing them. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys learned a little bit of something today about crafting. I know it can be a bit crazy at first, but just start collecting your materials, try and get your researches done, and reduce the research times you need. Get the keen eye skill so you can see them a bit better, and just if you don't need the extra bits, start deconstructing stuff, start getting that passive so you can get more items from deconstructing and refinements. And yeah, refine all your materials. You'll start getting green upgrades and blue upgrades along the way as you level it. And then the first ability in your skill trees essentially help you use higher level item materials to help you craft higher item level gear. And that's the kind of general overview here of crafting in Elder Scrolls, mainly for gear. I have an enchanting guide as well, which I'll link in the description below, and it's just kind of a quick way to get you started, which is kind of what this is about as well, just to show you the way crafting works in Elder Scrolls, because it can be a bit confusing. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Please like this video if you did find it helpful, and subscribe for more, and we'll see you again next time.